Hello, it's Jim here, and I'm going to talk about planting some seeds that I'm going to start indoors. It's March 1st here in the Georgia area, and it's about 6 weeks until we'll be planting the garden. That's the last average frost-free date in Georgia. So I'm going to go ahead and start some seeds, and I'm going to show you how that I do it. Um, Why would you want to start seeds indoors? Well, first of all, it's still kind of cold and you can't plant your garden yet, you can't work on it, but yet you're thinking about it, so it's something you can do in the meantime. And the other thing is you can save some money actually, because if you buy the plants already grown at a store, they're going to be $2 or $3 a piece, and I plan to start maybe 30 plants here, so that's considerable money that we could save by starting them indoors. So I've got a set here that you can get at any of the big box stores, and I'm not pushing this brand, there may be some other brands available, but this is the one that I got last year and did this last year, and it comes with everything that you really need to start your plants indoors. And what it comes with is a tray like this, just a tray to put your plants in, and I think it comes with the pots also, although you can buy these separately if you don't have them. They're the peat pots that they're sectioned off for you to start the plants in. And then it also has a plastic cover that you can put over the plants when you're letting them germinate. That keeps the moisture and the heat in while they're germinating, and then after they have germinated, you take the lid off, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. The other thing that you'll have to get is some starter soil, and the same company makes this. It says it's natural and organic, and it's formulated just for starting seeds, so it works out good for that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these section peat pots and we're going to fill them up with this organic soil. And I put numbers on the end of mine just to keep track of what seeds I have in which tray. If you're growing all of the same plant, same variety, let's say you're growing tomatoes and you're growing just one variety of tomato and you're going to put that in each of your sections, then you don't really need to keep track of it. But I'm going to grow like 4 of a lot of different varieties, and I'd like to know where those varieties are in my trays, so when I get ready to put them in the garden I know where I'm putting those varieties. So I've marked them, and as I'm going to show you in a little bit, I have a map that will show what's in each tray. So anyway, at this point what I want to do is just fill these trays up with the potting mix. So nothing very scientific about that. As you can see, I'm using my grill on the deck for the workbench. Got my camera person Sandy doing the camera work today. Try to give her some credits on the video. But you fill these up pretty full, because when you wet them they're going to pack down a little bit. I won't be too careful about it, it'll take me all day. We can dump off what's spilled over into the tray if we want to. So just fill them on up. Playing in the dirt already here. And it's still cold weather pretty much. Okay, got them just about full there. So I'll just kind of even them out a little bit. Spread them out a little bit. I may have a little too much there. You do have to see the divider so that you know that you're planting within the divider. So take it down a little bit here. Okay, this is the map that I've made up for my trays, and as you can see, this is number 1, which, as I told you earlier, I've marked on the tray, and I'm going to plant down here organic Roma seeds that I have in these bottom 4, and then I'm going to plant Roma VF, another variety of tomatoes up here. I'm going to plant broccoli seeds in these 2, and then on tray 2, Brandywine tomatoes in these 4 sections, Celebration tomatoes in these 4, broccoli in these 2 top sections of that, and then this is just some scrap paper that I used here. You may find another way to map or keep track of yours, but this is the way that I do it. The 3rd tray, I'll put Rutgers variety down here, and one that I got called Italian Heirloom in these 4 sections here, and then some more Italian Heirlooms in these top ones. This is a seed I haven't tried before, and I'm interested to see how they're going to do, so I'm planting a few more of those. So what we'll do is we'll just start with tray 1, and I'll show you kind of what I do, and then we'll cut to the we'll not show you every seed that I plant, but we'll kind of start. So the first one I'm going to plant is the Roma, and I got to find my seeds. This is the organic Roma. I've got a variety of sources that I've gotten these seeds from. I bought these from Victory Seeds. These were given to me from Seed Savers. These down here were from Seed Savers, and then these were actually bought at a store, Home Depot. So you know, you'll get your seeds wherever is convenient for you. You're used to getting them. So the first one is the organic Roma, which is these, and I'm going to plant in this tray, which I've numbered number 1 over here, and I'll plant them in these bottom 4 right here. Okay, so I finally got into the package here, and what they recommend you do is plant 2 to 3 seeds in each of these sections. And in prior years I planted 3, and it seems like they all come up, and then you've got to pull out or cut off the ones that you don't want, so that you only have 1 left. But I'm just going to put 2 in each one because I've had real good success with germination rates. By the way, you can save seeds from one year to the next. It depends on the kind of a seed, but tomato seeds are supposed to be good for 5 to 7 years actually, as far as saving them, as long as you keep them in a you know, someplace where they don't get too hot, say indoors on where there's not a lot of light, not a lot of heat. And so get some seeds here, and I'm going to plant them 1/4 of an inch, which is what they recommend. And I'm going to put 2 in each one. 1/4 of an inch is not very deep. If you just planted 1 and for some reason 1 didn't come up, then you'd have an empty section. So that's the way I'm going to plant them. I'm going to go through for each kind of seed, each variety of seed, and plant these sections. Okay, I've got all the seeds planted in the pots now. Now I realize I didn't do one thing that the directions said to do, and that's to wet the peat pots before you start, but that's not a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and wet them now, and the idea of wetting them before you start is because the peat actually absorbs a lot of water, and if you just water them like I'm doing, and I'm using by the way, a turkey baster, just because I can control how much water I put on there, but you could use, you know, whatever you want to do. And the other thing that I like to do after they're sprouted and growing is to put some water down in the bottom of the tray. It can soak up into the pot from there. So what I'm going to do is continue to water these and get the pots and the peat moss, or the potting soil that's in each section, nice and wet. And then what we're going to do is put this clear tray on top of it to keep the moisture in, and I'm going to put it in a nice warm place, and that's in our case going to be on top of the refrigerator. And you leave it there until the first seeds start to sprout, and then you prop it up a few inches so that it's got a little airflow to it, and you leave it that way until the rest of the seeds have sprouted. And then once they've all sprouted, you take the lid completely off and put it in a sunny location so that the plants can grow. And we'll finish the video after we have the seed sprouted, so this will be continued at a little bit later. Okay, my seeds have been up on the refrigerator in their tray for a week, exactly a week, and I kept the tray closed until the first seeds sprouted, and then I propped up the lid, and the directions said to leave the lid off until all the seeds sprout. And most of them have sprouted, but the disadvantage I see to doing it exactly by the directions is that the first ones that sprout get pretty leggy. They're all, if you can see, they're all leaning towards trying to find some light. So you have to now move them into the light and hope that they will, gather some sunlight and start to bulk up. And then for those sections that have not yet germinated, I'll keep the soil wet and they should go ahead and germinate also. So now I'm going to take the tray down and move it to another location. Now the tray is located in a window where it will get some light, and the challenge becomes trying to get enough sunlight on your plants to get them to grow nice and strong. Mine last year and probably again this year will end up being kind of, we call it leggy. They're kind of tall and thin compared to the ones that you see at the store, but once they're put into the ground, that really doesn't matter. They'll catch up. They'll do just fine. So I have this window here that's on the east side of the house, and I'll put the plants, I'll leave them in here in the mornings, and then I have a window on the west side of the house that I'm going to place them in the afternoon. Last year I tried to supplement the light with some LED or fluorescent lights that I put them under. They weren't true grow lights, but they were just LED, just 4-foot tube lights. And it's very hard to get enough light using artificial light. And if you do use it, you have to put the light down very close to the plants. I just didn't see that I got that much benefit. So this year what I'm going to try to do is just be real diligent about letting them get morning and afternoon sun. And then as the weather gets warmer and I can put them outside some, I'll even put them out when it's not too windy or too cold or too bright, and let them go ahead and start getting some direct sunlight, and also be hardening off a little bit.